Oh, if we move this any closer to you, we're going to be really going panning with the camera. Ooh. Yeah. Can't really hear you there at the moment. Can you get a bit closer to the camera, to the mic? How's that going?
Is that any better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Sweet.
Much better. Maybe if we angle it. This way. Try that, no?
Yeah, any good?
No. Try that.
Over here.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Great stuff. Yeah. Cool. So, Steven Sheehan is my name. Welcome to the podcast that has no name yet. Just thing that I figured I might do. I've been very interested in the Wimp to Warriors that have come through in season 1 and in season 2. Met some really cool people. Really enjoyed watching the process that they went through and thinking, fuck it, they're mad. They're dedicated people.
Yeah.
And so been mad listening to Joe Rogan a lot over the last year or so, and he's constantly saying everybody should do a podcast, everybody should have a podcast. So I thought I'd take him at his word and I'd start my own one. And I thought people who do Wimp to Warriors are mad, interesting, crazy people. You're the first one in, so welcome along.
Thank you very much. Good to have me.
Great stuff. Just going to adjust that there a little bit and see if we can get a bit more out of you.
No worries.
So, you decided to do this Wimp to Warrior thing.
Yep.
What possessed you?
I suppose for myself, I had a friend last year, Alan Doyle, who did it, and he was mad talking about it the entire time in terms of the training, and I could visually see the progression he was making as well, because Alan came into it and I knew him for a few years working with him, and you could see he was just a fitter guy, but two, much happier. I didn't just kind of change him in terms of fitness. It's just he seemed to open himself up and just become a much happier guy, and seeing that progress then and talking about it, he started pushing me on the side to see if I wanted to go and do it, and I said that I saw the progress I made for him. I might see what kind of challenge I can put myself through and see what the crack is about it, and push myself to a different level now.
Cool. So was it more that mental change, or that kind of a change in attitude that he would have had that was attractive to you? Or?
I think it was a bit of both, because obviously people will obviously kind of drag on and try and have a bit of a good mental attitude towards things, but you could quite easily something small get down and you could just tell that stuff that we had talked about before, and you'd have a different attitude towards it now, and it's kind of a lot more positive. You get to see the bright side of it rather than just seeing the kind of down and gloom side of things.
Excellent.
And obviously seeing the physical change from him as well was just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him for the last kind of 3 or 4 years, and seeing the difference it made going through the training.
Yeah, Alan got stacked alright.
He did. Yeah. So I was saying that was cool, because I'm always a person that's loved fitness into it, since a very young age, and it was just something, a different challenge to kind of break into, so I was kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you say you're into fitness. You've done any other martial arts beforehand, or?
To be honest, no, this would be the first time I've jumped into any martial arts. My entire family has done some form of martial arts or some form of kind of fighting in the background, but I've always been the GA player, playing the hurling and football, so I took a different kind of side step to everything with them. So I've been around it, most of my life, but in terms of taking part with it, now it'll be my first time kind of going into this kind of category, so it's exciting, good seeing a challenge.
Not used to getting slapped in the face just for fun, like?
Well, it happened on the hurling pitch and the football pitch, but I suppose now it's going to be legal, so once they hit me once, they won't have to stop. So that'll be the only difference, I say.
Yeah, you were in the hurling for a few years, so yeah.
Yeah, I started playing hurling when I was about 7, and I was playing.
Who were you with?
I was playing with the Pershicks around the corner, so I was playing with them from about the age of 7 up till around on and off then between the ages of 16 and 18, just because I got into work, and it was kind of hard to stick to a strict schedule where there's not much flexibility when it comes to a hurling match on a weekend or training during the week. Getting
older can kind of take you out of a lot of things that you might have been well dedicated to when you were younger, like. So
yeah, definitely, because I was in the underage kind of categories for the Cork teams, so I was, I'm not going to brag, but I was quite decent.
Good high level, like,
it was at a decent level.
All Pershicks players are at a good high level.
Yeah, well, they were when I was playing anyway. Not too sure now since I left. But no, it was kind of, I really enjoyed my time playing hurling, playing football. But as you said there, getting a bit older, responsibility kicked in for kind of work, and kind of have to make a choice, and unfortunately I'm not going to get paid to play hurling.
No, it's true. Yeah. Although some people do manage to make a bit of a life out of it, like, but they get into the coaching side and start to get into the official side, and end up being stalwarts in their desiccating and aging over in the corner. Wasn't like this in my day.
Exactly, but they had to go through the retirement age of it, I had to go through all the playing age.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, actually, before we came up here, when we were down in the old building below, we actually had the Piershick senior team down for a 6-week camp before pre-season. Seemed to work out very well with them. They won that year, I think.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing about that. It's kind of interesting because I know they had a bunch of fitness gyms up there as well, but coming down here they definitely got a bit more of a push that year.
Yeah, so it was something to see Sean O'Groar and that loads of fellas with a sledgehammer in his hand.
He's like that normally anyway.
Yeah, but with the sledgehammer in his hand as well. Like,
probably the scary side.
Actually I think Gary Sheehan was the head coach that time. Yeah. He was in school with me.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
nice.
We were in primary school together. Good old buddy of mine.
Yeah, I used to be very close with Gary.
Nice guy. I haven't seen him in a couple of years, though. So.
No, the last time I saw him now was he did the marathon last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took part of it. So I remember seeing that because I did part of a relay for work. So he did that. I remember kind of seeing him running past. Unfortunately, he was running past me. So
I couldn't encourage him to come down and get punched in the face, though.
No, I wouldn't want to be the person he's fighting at the same time either. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Nice bloke, but big guy.
Handy and fast as well. Yeah. So besides that kind of stuff, what are you doing for the normal day job this weather?
So at the moment I've been working up in Apple up in Hollyhill for the last 4 years, doing bits of tech support and sometimes a bit of training and kind of mentoring with different people up there. So that's kind of where the other kind of sports aspects started taking a bit of a step back, and the career started taking off then. So since then I've kind of just been trying to keep fit by either going to the gym.
You got a nice gym up there too, have you?
Yeah, it's a nice one to be fair. I started using it a lot more in the last 12 months because I got sick unfortunately in 2016. Got a dose of meningitis in November 2016.
Ooh,
and I'm a skinny bloke and I didn't have that much weight, but I came out of the hospital about 10 kg later. Yeah. So it wasn't that good at all.
That's my excuse for being so fat, by the way. I'm afraid in case I get sick sometime, and if I was still skinny, I'd be fucked. Like.
Yeah, it was hard, but definitely that was a bit of a shock to the system. I went back then to the gym, went up to one day. We were lucky enough to have a few personal trainers up there. Started chatting with them because I had to relearn my entire body at that time. So I just kind of get back into it. So in the last kind of year and a half, just been building myself back up, slowly trying to gain the weight back in a healthy way as well. So
excellent.
Good journey so far.
Meningitis is a scary fucking thing.
Yeah, I was lucky. I can't remember which one I said, but it was I think it was the bacterial one, which wasn't the one that does as much damage. But it was scary, right? Because I don't remember most of it. I remember going home feeling sick, waking up then in hospital, freaking out. Yeah. Kind of also looking at myself, kind of going, "Where's most of my body gone?" Because I was after shrinking away in terms of weight.
Did you actually get like a period of memory loss from it? Like you were that far out? Like?
I kind of blacked out, so I don't remember kind of parts, but obviously I was unconscious. I remember basically everything around it. But yeah, it's a scary thing to go through. Just going home, think you just had a bad dose of the flu, Man flu can be dangerous, so I was thinking it might have been something like that. Gee. But I remember, waking up in hospital, people standing around me, tube down my throat, freaking out, thinking someone was trying to strangle me or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, a bit scary, but
another couple of weeks now, somebody actually will be trying to strangle you. So.
Oh yeah. At least then I might be awake and be able to do something rather than just kind of waking up, kind of going, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. I know. Fuck it, that's mad.
Yeah.
And we'll work okay about all of that. We're supportive enough up in Apple, I'd imagine they're good.
100%. Like there was no rush coming back. The doctors were basically, take your time, come back into us in a week or so basis, just get a checkup. And when I felt good enough to go back, I kind of went back. To be honest, I was going to get a bit bored sitting at home. There's only so much you can do, and because I was still trying to rebuild myself, I couldn't do much. It's not like I could go out and go on the lash inside town or anything like that. Yeah. It was at home resting. It was boring.
Resting's the very, very hardest part of having any injury or illness or whatever it might be like. So
definitely, because I suppose the most annoying part for me is just because of being so active when I was younger and started being active as I'd work again. When I tried to go back to the gym, nothing I was able to do I could do before. So I tried to pick up a weight, I'd nearly fall to the floor picking it up, and I was like, I used to do this for reps, now it's my one max.
Shit.
Which was, unreal for myself. So that's why I kind of got the help of one of the trainers up there. Started doing a complete rehab program to build me back up. And I say now I'm stronger than I ever was at a lighter weight as well, which is nice.
That's good.
So I was about 80-ish kgs going in the hospital. And I came out around 71, 72 I average now around 78 kgs, and I'm lifting more than I would have lifted at 82, 83 kgs. It's nice having a bit less weight on me, but having more strength, so it's good to see the progress that way.
All that weight must be muscle, because it's fuck all fat in you, I'd say, is it?
That's what I'm hoping for anyway. You know, it's like,
I'm 80 kgs.
oh, that's hilarious.
Beer and jellies.
When I got weighed inside, you know, they were like double checking the scales. I came up with 79.5 on the day, and the guy that stepped up before me, looked massive, came in at 74. And I was like, it makes no sense.
No.
So I'm hoping it's either all bones or it's all muscle. I go for the muscle part anyway, hopefully.
Maybe when you were actually inside the hospital and you have this blank period, it wasn't meningitis you had, but that was when the Wolverine titanium bones were put in. Like.
Oh, definitely, there must be something.
And you'll be up on the mat there someday, now you'll just get a rage and out they'll come.
Sure, that might be an automatic win, hopefully, then, like, you know. But I don't think it'd be a disqualification, like. Wait and see, I suppose.
It'd be a first anyway, like.
Oh, I can't imagine it, like.
That's cool. Any other interesting questions I have to ask you? But this whole Wimp to Warrior thing, and you know, getting involved in the process and coming in for the day, and you know, doing the tryouts, and yeah, you've been around the gym a bit since, have you? You've come into a couple of classes, maybe, have you?
Like I've been down here once or twice, just kind of talking one or two of the guys, but I haven't been actually in taking part in any of the trainings. I was kind of I went on a little bit of a trip after doing the tryouts.
You were saying something about Amsterdam there. Like,
yeah, I went off to Amsterdam for kind of 6 days. So
cultural trip. You know. Cultural trip. You was done. So really nice museums in Amsterdam, and Anne Frank's house, and lots of really nice people.
Yeah, historical events, you know.
Yeah, so, beautiful city.
It actually is. So I didn't kind of have much time over that, but no, definitely, I know it's starting off now on Monday, so it's going to be an interesting day right now.
Excellent.
6 a.m. starts. It's going to be.
I'm going to try and come down a couple of times a week, but 6 a.m. is so early.
It is.
I mean, I'd love to do Wimp to Warrior, I really would, but I can't conscience or imagine getting up that early every bloody morning. Like, it's just.
No, I suppose
that's the real commitment, the real dedication. That's the hair part. All the rest of it, will fall into place. It'll get there, like. But
100%. I say if you told people to do Wimp to Warrior and it was on at 8 o'clock at night or 4:30 in the evening, I'd say there'd be a lot more people sign up.
They'd still miss it.
They probably would.
They'd still miss classes, like they would. They definitely would still miss classes. Like. I think it's that early morning thing. Once they start getting into it and doing it, you're like Jocko Willink. You're getting up in the morning. I'm gonna get after it. They just get really pumped for it, like so.
No, definitely. I'm an early riser myself. I get up at 6 o'clock every morning for work anyway, just to kind of get food and stuff for it and get ready.
So you're going to be up a little bit earlier?
A small bit earlier. That's the only good thing is, better an hour earlier, up an hour earlier. So cool. That's the only thing we hope for. That's the plan. We'll see how far it goes.
How did you find that whole process though at the start? This whole tryouts, and this whole.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I was nervous coming in because I saw one or two of the videos of the what Liam put up on Facebook for the Dublin one, and it just looked absolutely mental. There was
they got destroyed in Dublin. Yeah,
oh,
they really hammered them. No,
oh, it looked like I'd love to try something like that, definitely, because it looked like such a tedious task. Like up there, it was still, I say, just as tough, just different ways. Like there wasn't many machines involved.
Yeah,
it was definitely tough, and it was nice for myself because obviously, because I've been sick and not being in competitive sports anymore, I haven't been really able to test myself kind of with other people around me. When I go to the gym, it's I put the weight in the bar, the weight goes down, the weight goes up. That's my mental test done. Whereas when we were doing the strength and conditioning, or even kind of the sparring, or even just learning some of the basic moves of getting up to stand up, like you can see other people doing it and you're comparing yourself to them. So it was nice to get back to that mentality. I remember doing the strength and conditioning, I wanted to give myself like a 10-second breather, but other people weren't. So it was nice just to push yourself back on and remember that you actually, even though you want to give yourself that break, you can actually still push through it. And I haven't had to do that in such a long time, so it was refreshing kind of knowing that although I wanted a 10-second break, I didn't actually need it. So it's good to kind of push through that.
Yeah, definitely what you'll find is you'll be like Bambi. with some of the stuff, like when you're going through the coachability, you'll feel like Bambi. You'll feel like, how can I not do this?
Yeah.
Why won't the leg go where I want it to go, or the hand go there? Yeah. And there's that kind of real period of confusion that just kind of, whoa, zogs you. But then once you get just past that, it becomes about that drilling, that grinding, that it becomes like doing those reps of the way it goes up, way it goes down.
Yeah, I already have the name band anyway, so I'm well used to it. I can't ice skate, so anytime I go ice skate, it's just like looking at someone just waiting to fall on the floor. So I have the nickname at Bambi anyway, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, we might organise an old ice skating trips off you, will we?
If you want to see someone fall over multiple times, work away. I can sort it out, not about it.
I think that thing just kicked out there. I don't know whether it's actually working or not.
Just some technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's just not even recording.
Strange.
It just decided to stop or whatever, like, you know. Anyway, that's just a YouTube video. That's about the back up the B-roll, like. I was just trying to think of other things, you know, that might be of interest. What I need is a Jamie like Joe Rogan has, you know, somebody that actually fucking
stands there and tilts it.
Yeah, fucking hell, that's great actually. In some ways, that's great there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, somebody who you know, stands there and does all the bits and bobs and works all the machinery. There's one-man band here. You know. So,
cables everywhere.
Need a monkey.
I guess the job done.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, any other mad interests or, you know?
I suppose the only interest I have is I have a few tattoos. That's the only thing.
I'm mad into your pain, like. Yeah.
Well, in some kind of ways, I hate needles, which is ironic. I absolutely hate needles. You couldn't ask me to go for a flu jab or draw blood.
I'm gonna try this way.
Any better? Ooh.
That's fucking good.
Yeah.
It's back in frame there.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely hate needles. But if you tell me to sit down for 6 or 7 hours getting a tattoo, not a problem.
Yeah, I find it very relaxing. It's like time off. Yeah, it's like, you know, spending time just doing nothing, and you know, the tattoo artist, like the hairdresser, just chatting about everything, and you know, oh yeah, how's your day, and agreeing with everything you say, because you know
they have a needle to your arm that could permanently mess up anything.
Oh yeah,
so
we're having fun there.
Whatever they want to say, I completely agree with them.
Yeah, I got my first proper tattoo there a couple of years back, and you know, just big dragon, you know, great dragon, fucking sleeping, one eye open kind of job, like, and you want this little doodle on the dragon's shoulder of a little stick girl with pigtails. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't worry, I cover it over when I colour it in, like, you know, but you know, it's fun, like, you know, it's the dragon with the girl tattoo. Like, you put a pun on my yeah, she's cool though. Vita Clara, she's really good tattoo artist. Really cool. Spent a long time with her, getting it all coloured in and everything. So I'm really pleased with the piece. Like, so,
nice. Yeah. I kind of have a work in progress at the moment, kind of a half sleeve at the moment.
Yeah.
Going on Japanese kind of design. So I have a koi fish going on and a demon on the inside of my arm then. So yeah, it was sore getting the demon done. It kind of goes right up just by the armpit.
Well, there's a couple of spots where like there's just nerves closer to the skin or something, like, and the needle just hits them, like, and it hurts. Like,
I won't even lie, like when I was getting that done, I got it done and your mum was like, I'm going to give you a pillow just when I'm doing this part so you can bite down on the pillow. And I was like, never thought I'd hear anyone tell me bite down on a pillow for anything. So but I didn't understand why. 2 seconds later he went up just by the top of my armpit, just where the kind of the devil's horn would go into.
Yeah.
And no, I won't lie, I never thought I made it, but I had to bite down that pillow. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
So have you seen the art at the top of the stairs?
Yeah, I saw someone when we went up there for trials, and probably a bit not the best memory I say after doing the trial, because I was probably concentrating not falling down the stairs, to be honest.
That's actually all Vita Clara's art from her final year project when she was in Crawford.
Oh, sweet.
So, there's a lot of different designs in there that are kind of related to designs she might have done for tattoos. They popped up on people in tattoos afterwards, you know. Really interesting stuff, and it's all kind of linked together, and it kind of just shows the whole, I know it's kind of like just like the whole gamut of what her life was at the time with art and tattooing and what have it. I really like it. It's dead cool. And I think she's willing to sell it if anybody's got loads of money. But that's cool. Still trying to think of other things, though, you know. Normally I'm good enough, you know, for just, you know, popping up with loads of absolute bullcrap to talk about. Like, you were saying obviously playing Pearshigs, working up in Apple, so you're probably from up around this direction, Parklands, Farnry.
Yeah, it's called Fairhill Drive. Don't know why, because it's not near Fairhill, but it's literally across the road from.
I nearly bought a house there.
Yeah,
I almost bought a house there. Yeah,
probably better off not doing it.
Mother wouldn't let me. Said there was murders and everything up there. Pure gangster part of the city, like, you know. And I was like, "Ma'am, I'm from Farnry."
That's it, you know.
So, no.
That's not bad. Like,
No, I went Fairhill Drive, actually. It was one of the other ones. No, I know Fairhill Drive.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like, I can't be an excuse for not turning for training, like, because it's literally turn on the car, roll it down the hill.
Turning on the car and rolling down the hill. After a couple of weeks, he was saying, "Dad, I'm gonna run to the gym." And get up, leg it out the door, coffee in hand.
Probably crawl back up the road then.
Oh yeah, on all fours. No, I'm sure somebody will give you a spin back up the road.
Lovely.
Yeah, cool. So whole life in around this area, like, so.
Yeah, to be honest, haven't kind of spent much time outside of it. A few places down in West Cork, so I have family that lives down in West Cork, down in Bantry. So there's not much kind of outside of it.
My grandfather's people are from Bantry.
Yeah.
Well, he's buried down there, actually. Yeah. Maybe it's my grandmother's grandfather's people. I don't know, anyway. No, but I know Bantry reasonably well. So,
yeah. I know, it's like that's my side anyway. Like, I know my mother's side of the family originates from Kerry, and then some of them have emigrated off to Canada.
We found the mad part.
Yeah, I was meant to move to Canada years ago myself when I was only a baby. Kind of plans changed, and like my dad was after getting a different job, so I decided to stay over. But yeah, I remember kind of telling people, I'm off to Canada. 2 weeks later, never mind, I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, you know, life goes like that sometimes, you know. It just throws you a curveball.
That's it, like, you know, I can't have any complaints, like, because I'm not the biggest fan of the cold weather, like, so I don't think I'd be too happy in Canada with the snow and ice, like, and like I said, Bambi on ice anyway, so I wouldn't have fit in over there.
Yeah,
so I might be a pro skater over there if I started a bit younger, you know.
Could be.
Yeah.
You know, give up the old hurling, got into the hockey, you know.
Yeah. Onto ice hockey there.
Yeah, the ice hockey. You know. It's almost as violent as hurling. Not quite, but almost.
Almost, I suppose. They get the fight. The referees actually let them fight until they stop. So I suppose a bit of a difference over here. They try and stop the fight before it starts.
Yeah, they are allowed to throw a couple of punches or something like that.
Until they fall to the ground or something like that. I know if they fall, and they have to stop straight away because of the blades. But I know they can have a few free punches, and then they kind of stop it after that.
Yeah. Just Canada's a mad place. I have a buddy living over there. He loves it. He says, you know, got a great house out in the middle of nowhere, has to drive 2 hours to go shopping. You know, I think he's lecturing in a university or something over there. Like.
Yeah.
So, but you know, he likes the country, he likes the people, it's very laid back in a lot of ways.
I know my mother has an uncle over there who's ironically he lives in Canada, but he actually works in the States. Don't know why he does that, but he's a part of one of the
tax reasons.
I suppose, like, you know, he can jump back out if anything ever goes wrong, I suppose. But I know he's a part of one of the American football coaching teams. So apparently he's quite a nice guy. Haven't met him myself, but that's what
Canadians are all very nice.
Yeah, I suppose it might be that, because part of the American football teams he's probably going to have a bit of money, so everyone's going to say he's nice, I suppose.
Other than that, I'm just trying to think now, you know, you're going to be down for the next 6 months?
Yeah, 22 weeks is it? 22 weeks.
And looking forward to the old early mornings. The first half of it is just, you know, you'll get used to it, get into the whole thing. Once you start sparring, then, you know, it really kind of becomes more enjoyable then.
Yeah, you know that's it. You know, definitely.
You start getting towards where, you know, you can see where the benefits are coming out of all the drilling, all the training, all the different things you've done.
Yeah.
You start to get show off a bit, like.
I suppose, yeah. You can, as mentioned, for the first few weeks you're going to be learning the fundamentals, and then obviously they'll kind of build on top of that more advanced stuff. So I'd imagine the first few weeks you're probably going to thinking, well, what's this about? But I suppose you probably have to trust in the process and kind of get through it. You do, yeah, and you have to put in the time and do it, like, you know. So. Definitely. And if you want a little early taster, you just hop down to, after a few weeks, you start hopping down to some of the classes in the evening, sneak in, you see, because then, you know, most of the people in there have been coming a little bit longer, but probably haven't put in the same amount of hours, because like if you're doing 5 hours a week,
for 4 weeks, that's 20 hours.
Yeah.
For most people, that's 10 or 15 weeks worth of training, like, you know, and you've done it in the first 2 weeks, like,
Yeah,
you know,
I suppose.
first couple of weeks.
I actually never thought of it that way. I was straight away, if I came down after a week or two, I'd be out of my depth completely, because there'd be more advanced people down here then, like, but
there's always beginners falling in, and all the classes are structured in a way that allows for different levels to interact, which is actually really, really good, because then you do get, rather than the fighter who's got a fight coming up next week, right, being in your class and beating up on the people who've never held it before, what you actually get is you get the fighter being the one that the beginners want to spar with, because they learn better and they don't get hurt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
he knows exactly
what he's doing, and he doesn't need to beat you up. He knows that he doesn't need to beat you up, so he's not there in that class because he wants to beat you up. He's there in that class because he wants to practice something that he's looking at, and he also wants to give back. And that's a very big part with them. A lot of them, they're coming in to help people along, because they want you to be their sparring partner in a year's time.
Yeah, I suppose I actually never thought
beating up on them when you're going for a fight, like, you know, so
definitely never thought about that, because I know, like I said, Alan, he's been trying to get me down here for a few weeks, even before I even signed up for it. I was always very hesitant. I think this guy's just done through 22 weeks of a program, you know, obviously big lad, twice my size nearly, probably flip me if he wanted to. And that's the first thing I kind of thought. I was like, I don't really want to pay someone to flip me around the place. But no, it's kind of cool knowing that you can fall into those classes. I wasn't aware of that at all. I thought if I came down here, it was the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's actually quite unique on the Wimp Warrior program. In the other gyms, like in Dublin or in Australia or whatever, they don't actually offer that ability to come into the classes in the evening as well.
Cool.
They normally have to pay for that extra, you know, become a member separate and all that kind of thing. And so I don't know, they just don't do it. Whereas here, they're quite willing to allow people to come in the evenings. So you get to meet all the rest of the people as well, and you pick up loads of things from different people and start to build that vibe. You know?
No, definitely, because you can tell, like, just walking in the door straight away, you can tell it's just one of those places that welcomes nearly anyone in here. So it was kind of cool to feel that. But, like, you know, you couldn't go into other kind of clubs or other sports, and you can kind of tell there's a niche, but you don't feel that walking in here.
Yeah, we try and avoid the cliques.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You know, this place you walk in, you can see the crowd in the corner, you can see this group over there, that group over there, and you're kind of wondering, where do you fall into? But it doesn't feel like that even on the first day for tryouts. Even the guys who may have been here for other kind of, you know, conditioning classes or other classes, they fell in straight away with, as I would call, you know, an outsider like myself that hasn't been down here. You didn't feel like an outsider, you know, which was kind of really strange in one way to have, but cool in another way.
Yeah, it's great actually. One of the things I really love about the place, so is why I'm down here a lot. So, that and the learning to strangle people, like,
and you get to do it inside here legally, which is kind of cool. So if you have a bad day, come over here.
But you do have to let them go before they die again. Just so you're sure.
Just to make sure, get to a certain point and like kind of stop. Still not murder.
Exactly.
We don't condone that.
Anything else that you're interested in talking about? Anything you want to ask me?
Just for myself, you said you kind of seen the people go through the progress of the kind of season 1 and the season 2.
Yeah.
Is there kind of any advice you kind of give people like myself that's starting out from a background completely different to this, other than kind of like get up, put the effort in?
Most of the people who start with a background completely different to it, like. The main things that seem to succeed for people in terms of, like, you know, getting to the end of it and getting out the other side and being happy with what they do inside the cage on show night, like, the main things that seem to be the most the key things that you look at in people that predict kind of success or happiness at the end of it. Now, I don't want to say success because not everybody wins. Half people are going to lose. But
that's the way it is.
If somebody loses and they lose knowing that they went in there and they got to show what they can do, they're great. You know, they feel okay about it. They feel a bit disappointed with the loss. Everybody, but even at that stage, you go, fuck it. You know, I did my best. I look at what I've done. Look at how I've learned, and they can hold their head up high walking out of there. The key predictor for that is turning up and listening. Because funnily enough, somebody who kind of goes doesn't really listen or doesn't ask the question when they didn't hear, they tend to kind of go forget about it, stumble through it, put on the blinkers, get into the cage, do poorly, and then afterwards go, how come I did so poorly? I can't really see where I went wrong. Like,
Yeah.
do you know, and they feel disappointed about it then, but they know in their own heart it's because they skipped 3-4 mornings a week, or they weren't really listening, or when they didn't hear or understand something, they didn't go and ask somebody.
Yeah,
So that's it. The ones that actually get to the end and are, like, you know, very happy with their performance, win or loss, are the ones that ask questions that you know, they'll have at some stage gone, I can't figure this bit out.
Yeah.
Can you help me? And, you know, gone and looked for that help, you know, and actually actively sought it, or actually said, you know, hang on a minute, I didn't understand that, you know.
No, definitely. Like, you could see that kind of sense of, like, when people were like, I was at the fight night for the season 2 finale, and you could see that, like, even though obviously we said, like, people have to lose in the situations, like, you know, it's unlikely. There's very unlikely to be any kind of form of draw.
There's never a draw in MMA.
No,
there is no draw in MMA.
Yeah, so, like, it's never going to be one of those situations. So, but you can see when people were walking out of the cage, they were still happy, they were still proud. You have to give hats off to them, because I look at it kind of going, you're agreeing to lock yourself in the cage with someone and allow them essentially do nearly anything to you. You know, like, I know there's obviously rules implemented, but at the same time they can still punch you, they can still kick you, so they can strangle you till, well, obviously hopefully you tap out
or fall asleep.
Yeah. So, like, anyone that does that, you just have to give them props, but it's mental where, like, you know, I don't think you can technically walk out. You're always going to walk out disappointed if you lose, but I don't think you can actually walk out kind of being, you know, upset with anything, as long as you know that you put in the effort and the build up to it.
Yeah, but by the time you get to that, you realise, like, in the last weeks, you kind of realise where you are.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, this is where I actually am. Like, I'm at a point where I am capable of getting in there. I'm physically ready, I'm mentally ready to get in there, and I'm going to be in there.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing thing, that when you see that change happening, that's one of the things that most impressed me.
Yeah.
It's like I see people start going, oh, I think I'm a bit mad, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to try and do it, you know, at the start, like, or whatever, you know. And when you see them getting to the point where the realisation dawns on them that, like, you know, I am going to do this, you know, and I am capable of this, and they're not. There's no longer a kind of an up in the air hesitancy, or would I be able to? Yeah. That question's already answered before they get in there.
Sorry, because that's where I am at the moment, you know, starting on Monday and kind of going, I'm not looking Monday as this is the first day before I get into a cage. I'm looking at Monday as in this is the first day of training. Whatever happens after this will go with the flow. So I'm in that stage at the moment where I'm not even looking at a possible cage fight. Right. Not because I don't want to do it, because I'm just kind of going, you know,
it's far away. It's far away at that
definitely.
point.
Like, it's 6 months.
But after once you get a few weeks in and everything starts to click and what have you, but by the time you're into that last run towards it, you know you're ready. You know you're there for it, and that's the thing that most impresses me. You see that switch going, and it's like, right. No, every single one of them knows they can and knows they will, and they're going to go in and they're going to go and do it, and they go in there and they do it. So the win or loss then isn't really the hugest things. Now, some people do get hung up on really, really wanting to win, like, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. Like, you know, no one's going to want to step into the cage and finish second.
Yeah, but some people get a little bit more hung up on wanting to win than others, like, you know. They're the ones who are kind of asking a couple of weeks before the fight. They're kind of going, do you know if I did this, could I do that? And, you know, they're trying to find little ways, you know. You can see them, their brain is trying to take over, like, you know. They're way more interested in what's their game plan than anybody else really is. You know, they're like, you know, they start to stress about their game plan or whatever.
Sure, everyone says that's the game plan till they get punched in the face, isn't it?
That's the game plan is train, drill, figure out what you're good at, go in and implement it, like,
because there's only so much you can do, control what your opponent does. So, like, you know, a lot of it's going to be like you against yourself. So it's going to be nice to see that mental change, because, like I said, sitting here right now, you know, do I see myself someone capable getting into a cage? Absolutely not. I can get in there being tested on me for something.
Well, I can take you up there if you want in a minute, but nobody's going to let you fight right now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so it's kind of cool knowing that as well, that, you know, you're not going to be put into a cage if you don't think you're ready. You know, which is one of the main things what I was just delighted about when I heard. You know, because last thing you want to do is kind of get in there and get, you know, hopped around the place and feel like what you've done for the last 22 weeks is kind of just been wasted.
You'll know, and it's really weird like this, like, because there's a point, at a certain point coming into the run-up, where what you're doing for the last, like, whatever it is, I don't know, it could be 6 weeks or whatever, what you're doing is you're actually preparing yourself physically. You're not teaching yourself new things. Really, at that point, you're preparing yourself physically so that you're in the best physical shape possible going in there, and that's a different thing. By then you've already sparred. Some people have taken, like, definitely in the last couple of seasons, there's luckily enough, a couple of novice competitions might have come up a few weeks beforehand, and they're ready, they're sparring, go do a novice competition, and they'll go and do a novice competition, not a cage fight, it's not a big show or anything like that.
Yeah, I
there's
saw
novice competition on
already.
Huh?
I saw there was one of those been advertised there at the moment.
Yeah, there's one, we've got one coming up in a couple of months' time.
February the 3rd.
Probably. No, actually February the 3rd I think they're going doing something else.
Yeah, it's February 13th.
Yeah,
I know there's something come up where it's light rules, no strikes, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
you kind of go to get the hit but don't actually kind of land the kind of things what they were saying.
There is strikes, but you're not supposed to use full force. Light head contact is what it is. But there's competitions like that, or there's some people who take to the jiu-jitsu. They go off. There might be a jiu-jitsu competition 4 or 8 weeks before the Wimp to Warrior finale or whatever. And they go, I'd like to do the jiu-jitsu competition. And they go and they do it, or a kickboxing fight or whatever.
Get a bit of confidence in you, what you've learned, it can be used.
Kind of like it's a bit of ring practice, getting used to it and getting used to getting in there and competing. And some people take that option, and it's because they're good and ready, and they already know they're good and ready, but they're not at peak physical level, which they want to be by the time they get in the cage. So
I suppose it gets good to know yourself around the ring, because myself, the only rings I used to know before, the ones on the cars, or the ones you wear in your hands, I wouldn't be used to any kind of ring. The closest thing I've been to the hurling pitch. Most of the time I was on goal for that, so I didn't really.
And at least you've got a weapon there as well in case.
Unfortunately,
what's that famous quote from that Aussie guy or the Welsh guy, the Welsh rugby fella? He was in a commentary box once with watching a hurling match. It was an All-Ireland final or something like that, and the Irish guy goes to him, so how would you feel if you were down there with a hurley in your hand? I tell you, boy, I wouldn't like to be down there with a hurley in my hand.
Which is very much true. Very much true. Many times I've had hurleys cracked across my back or cracked across my head, which is the fun part. So definitely, I wouldn't mind bringing one of those in the cage. Probably feel a bit more home, but probably don't think
you're not the first hurler actually that we've had coming through.
Oh, it's good to get that.
Ian O'Connor last season, first season. Yes, Ian O'Connor on the first season. He's older. He's 40 odd. Yeah. He's around my age. He would have been big into the hurling as well.
No.
Not a piercings man, though.
No, I wasn't even recognising him. Didn't recognise him.
No. It's, can't remember whether it was the ladies or the men. He'll kill me now for not knowing that. But it's not the first time we've had a hurler coming through.
Oh no, it's good. It's kind of a nice background to have, but it's a team sport. When you did that, I know this one's a bit. Obviously, you're going to have the team aspect of where the people are getting ready, but you won't have anyone to fall back on if you do something.
Not when you're in the cage.
No, well, not when you're in the cage, definitely not.
You're on your top there,
Exactly, which is kind of nice, because although being in the hurling teams, being in the sports teams, I was a keeper. So if I messed up, there was no one behind me.
Yeah, so you're used to that.
Exactly, so it's kind of very aspect. Although I was a team sport, you didn't feel like an outsider, but you felt, everyone used to say you have to be crazy, be a goalkeeper. And I think it's a bit true, because they
all blame. You got to swing the bigger hurley.
That's it. Which is not too bad though. You get a bigger hurley to swing back with when someone swings on you. So. No, it's fine.
5 to 7 I'll be late for class if I don't get wrapped up.
Jeez, that went fast.
Yeah, flew by.
Yeah, definitely did.
Yeah, listen, thank you very much, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. And this one will probably be terrible, but I'll see how best I can edit it and
see what kind of skills
around. Yeah, I'll see how good my audio processing skills are and what I like. So.
Sweet.
Thanks very much.
No problem.